I think the last line that you mentioned, Lee, that I think is interesting is you took pride in the fact that you helped him find the path that's right for him. And I feel like that balance may be really hard for folks. Like balancing the self-interest of how do I keep this superstar on my team and that of how do I make sure that I help support them to find the path that's best for them and to grow in the way that I know will help them become the most successful version of themselves that they can be. How do you balance that sort of management self-interest of preserving superstardom and supporting the growth and development and helping that mentee move on?
Yeah, I would say you just have to think about longer term. What is more in some way, I was joking this is a long term benefit for me because Valley is, the world is small. You can identify those people who have a big potential. You can not really stop them. Maybe you stop them for this month or for this year. You cannot really stop them long term. You might as well help them to move fast, and then and hopefully, and most of the cases I see, they will pay forward, and in fact they will turn back and help you in many other ways. And the example I gave, now he's a successful entrepreneur. There are actually a couple of cases my own company need to work with his company, and it's super easy for me just to pick up the phone, say, hey, we need this, and tell me what do you need, or tell me in this space what do you know. And he actually start to give me, I won't say in some way his advice in certain areas that I'm not aware of. So I think the roles or the position changes, and we become friends and really learn from each other.
What's really interesting, you just shared about is the perspective you take to look at, because that can be a really big of a challenge. They don't know how to people may not know how to decide, but if you look at a long term view, like you think about this is a long relationship, not just right now in the next 3 years, but lifelong, then things become a lot clearer. I think that's a really powerful perspective to have in moments of like that.
Yeah. And as frankly speaking, it's a kind of a similar when you recruit people, because now I'm being several times in the startup. When I recruit people, I always try to be as, I would say, objective as possible, because I imagine I'm the other end receiving those recruiting pitch. What is real? What is most likely to happen? And of course, we will need to be inspirational, but I also want to be very transparent. I believe what you can get from this company and what you may or may not get from this company, so that when people join and they don't really, I mean, they're always up and down, but they at least will believe in what I told them. And this has been one of my, I would say, strengths or reputation in the Valley. Like I told them at least what I believe the truth. And I almost never say, hey, this is going to be 100 times stock value or something. This is never going to be my pitch.
I heard those paces before. It's quite common.
Yeah, I know, but it won't last long because you cannot predict. But what you promise, for example, when I hire people into Line or into Circle, I promise you will have tremendous growth opportunity. You will learn a lot because the company need to expand. There's a lot of challenge in the startup, but I promise I will give you scope to learn, and I will mentor you, and that's what I did.